Collective, hey, what is going on? Happy Saturday morning. Welcome into the channel. I hope that you are doing well today. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're just going to look at our overall health, well-being via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through, along with some Ayurvedic lifestyle habits. And so let's get into it. All right. We are at the tail end. These messages are always timeless because they are more healing centric. But I do bring, like I said, a little bit of astrology into the readings of what's going on in the present day. And we're in Aries season right now. We're actually closing out Aries season. We're about to go into Taurus in 2 days. And we're just coming off of a new moon. So there's a lot of like good energy, good momentum playing out in the collective right now, where I think we've been feeling this a little bit more directly than throughout Aries relationship or season, excuse me. There's been like a lot of figuring out like what we think, what we feel around situations and dynamics that are playing out in our life. And some of them are hitting closer to home. Some of them carry more weight, more difficulty. Some of them directly affect our health and well-being, right? And we all know how to, we kind of have to figure out how to have that balanced approach when it comes to self-love, self-care. In my opinion, I do have a wellness background, but I think self-care is like the best thing you can do for yourself. If you have goals, desires, if you want your life to look a certain way, like it starts with how we take care of self. And that's why I'm a huge proponent of Ayurveda, because it is lifestyle. Yes, you don't have to change everything. It is very old school on some levels because it was written thousands of years ago. So there's that. But what I like about it is a lot about daily routine, following certain like seasonal schedules, daily schedules. There's different times of day that honor, support different activities, etc. And when we're living with our physiology, mind, body, soul in that way, it really does kind of lend to this like maximum efficiency, minimum effort, because we're kind of used to doing it. And then we have more time and space to invest into things we're passionate about, things we want to see build, grow in our life, etc., or just like enjoying the life we've built, right? There's that component too. It's not just about achieving. That is that fire component that we're seeing right now. And so, I've been picking up this energy this week of like, yes, and seeing it in our readings where we're feeling a little bit more confident and even kind of feeling the effects of the good things that we're doing, but maybe not seeing the physical manifestations play out quite yet. Wanting things to look a little bit different than what they actually do. And that can be pretty defeating in and of itself. We've been through a long-winded cycle of this where things are taking their time to not only play out, like, excuse me, I got rub my nose. I got an itch. Not only play out, but like seeing how situations are going to play out, how people are going to show up, act, behave, etc. But also like making sure that we're constantly coming back to self, reevaluating how is this feeling for me, right? How is this supporting my health, my well-being? I've been talking a lot about just like plugging into that life-giving energy. And I like thinking of it that way because so often it can be easy to fall into the trap of good, bad, right, wrong, blah, blah, blah. And I think maybe yes, whatever, but sometimes we don't get the justice that we're seeking out of situations, or we do kind of have to bite the bullet and kind of hunker down and just do what we have to do even if we don't like what's happening, and that can be really challenging in and of itself. But that's really where we learn a lot of beautiful lessons. And especially when it comes back to self, when it comes back to how we nurture, care, support ourselves, etc. So with that, I am going to start off with an energy cleansing, just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any blocks or limitations we might be coming into. It's also a great time to set your own intention as well, especially if you have something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like spirit to bring a little bit more guidance, direction around in your life. Definitely give that over, be open to receive. It is a really great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of that realignment of self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we are aligned, when we're feeling good, that's really where we tap into our happiness, our fulfillment, our abundance. And I would really love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, my little spiel. Let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right. So I am feeling this energy or picking this energy up from you of like feeling like you do have a lot of time, or maybe it's just like you're looking at how much time something has taken, like I was just talking about. But I'm feeling more this energy of like there's a lot of momentum happening around you, but you're almost getting lost in like what is right in front of you, or maybe even something that might be a little bit distracting because things aren't, like I said, like there has this energy of, yeah, I like this. This makes a lot of sense. Planting of the seeds. Like it has this energy of uncertainty. Maybe that's what I'm picking up. Like not really sure how things are going to play out moving forward. There's a foggy energy. Seeds, new ideas, hope, open-mindedness. I feel like you're putting yourself out there this week. I feel like you're more open, flexible to what is around you, the opportunities that are around you. We get that with being in the spring season. I know it's dependent on where you're located, but even just any transition of season, there is some relief that comes with it, right? And spring is about rebirth. Ayurveda actually looks at how we get more energy, more invigoration during this time of year. And, you know, I mean, obviously it's after a period of some amount of dormancy, right? More of a low key, with the winter time hibernation type energy. And now it's, so I'm hearing like you don't have a lot of specifics in mind. Like you do feel really open minded, and especially when it comes to, I feel like whatever you're dealing with, especially in your health, wellness, mind, body, soul, it's like what you've been working on has gotten you to a certain point, and now you're ready for expansion. Now you're ready to bring in new ideas, and you feel really positive about this. Like I keep picking up, well, we get carnelian as I'm talking about this, which really is about our empowerment. It deals with our lower chakras. So anytime we're trying to bring something into manifestation, birth something, new job, a side hustle, new relationships, whatever. And it doesn't even have to be anything new. It can just even be investing in a deeper way into what you already have going on, right? Expanding yourself, your knowledge, your awareness, etc. And that's what carnelian is really good for. The root chakra, we need that. We need that grounded energy to keep us stabilized, to keep us like focus, center. And then the sacral is more of the creativity. That's and the carnelian is connected specifically to the sacral. Yes, all the lower chakras, but I'm specifically getting at the creative component. Sometimes I get like so, not pumped up, but just like I have a lot to say, or there's a lot coming through, I should say. So yeah, so it's like you're not holding on to anything too tightly is what I'm seeing. You're open to ideas. You're open to new ideas. You're open to revamp old ideas. You're kind of just like, I kind of just keep getting that vision of you casting as if you were in the field sowing your seeds, but just that's what I can see, sprinkling seeds. So just kind of throwing it out there, seeing what sticks, seeing what comes back your way. Ooh, I love this. This is in our front and center energy. So this is what's coming in as a result, the fruits, the success of our labor. And ironically or not, I think this was in our blocked energy at the beginning of the week. So what I feel hopeful, or was that yesterday? I don't know, or two. I don't know. I shouldn't guess. But it was in the reading recently in the blocked energy. And I feel like this is like blocks are finally lifting. And you can feel this. And it might not even be today or tomorrow, but things might start coming in over the next week or so. Maybe you're engaging with new situations, signing up for a new class, reaching out to people, seeing what's going on, seeing what's happening in your community, booking a trip. This feels really expansive. Like just whatever you're doing, it's all about expanding your horizons. And like, I'm also feeling this in a way where you feel like you have a strong enough platform to do so. I think that there are what I'm hearing is it's like there are some lingering things. The mushrooms symbolize recycling, breaking down problems. They do have a toxic component. I don't think mushrooms are toxic. I actually really enjoy them. I do kind of reference their toxicity a lot on the channel, but it is kind of that value of like, it's something that grows in the dark. It's kind of just a murkier environment. There's just kind of like a lot of heavier tones around mushrooms and their energy, so to speak. They can be very medicinal, they can be very healing, but there's also, whatever. I should say there's a lot of debate around them. But I know modern day, like lion's mane, there's a lot of hype around certain mushrooms that are really good for cognitive function or women's reproductive, etc. But we're not going to get on that tangent right now. So we have mint and tend. Mint is abundance, persistence, proliferation, and tend is maintenance, encouragement, guidance. So we were getting this energy of like that additional support. And that's where I feel like some of this seeds that you're planting is coming into play. These are things that these are definitely new things. And I feel like it's in a way to get rid of or remove or release this toxicity, whatever this is for you. It also could be things popping back up because what I was hearing before, and I didn't complete this thought, is it's like, you're doing a lot of things right. And there's a lot of empowerment happening for your success. And it's a really good thing. Like it looks like things are moving in a really good direction for you. At the same time, there's still lingering things that are getting caught up or that are going to kind of pop up as you're moving towards this success. I feel like this is also, like I said, like a level of achievement. But in the blocked energy is wisdom, purification, harmony. Maybe there's some things that you haven't really made peace around quite yet. And that was also what I was picking up, like, because you're feeling so good, empowered, etc. It's almost sugarcoating some of the toxicity, some of the stuff from the past, some of the stuff that hasn't healed, that hasn't found harmony and balance quite yet. And I'm not saying that you can't have boundaries or what you need to do for yourself, but this is like, I'm hearing this in a way of like holding on to anger, frustration, hate, resentment, etc., not really carrying that forward with you, because that's where the unhealthy patterns, if we're going to talk about health and wellness, that's where they end up popping up, right? Where you have a lot of good things going for you now. And I feel like you're putting it out, seeing what you get, what results you get, putting things into practice, etc., honoring yourself a little bit more each step you take. And things are happening as a result of it. I feel like good things are happening. Let me take a sip. Too. But there is this component, like we get this a lot in our readings, where something like it's like what I'm hearing specifically with this is an energy needs to be transformed, an energy needs to be transmuted. And how do you figure out what this is? It's something that you're thinking all the time, or you kind of focus on something that has negative components to it, something that throws you back into the cycle of not treating your body, mind, soul with love and care, whatever that means for you. Ayurveda is all about the balanced path, not to be annoying. I know that's hard modern day because of how well health and wellness is displayed. We don't get a lot of balance in terms of activity and rest. Seven of Pentacles, feeling a little bit in the waiting game. Again, that's that part of you that's like feeling the momentum, but not seeing the results 100%. And here's the thing, I think like recently I'm reminded of, we got the star energy, and it was basically about how waiting isn't a bad thing. It gives you an opportunity to invest more in yourself, in your healing. You don't have to be a robot, but especially if you're trying to change wellness aspects of your life, eating better, getting more exercise, activity, honoring your body in, a better way, tuning in a little bit more, like just that value of how when we sit down to eat, we often don't really pay attention to eating. We're like doing 50 other things. And then before you know it, you're full, you're overly full, whatever, you've eaten a lot of heavy stuff. There's just like a lot of different components that go into the value of slowing down. And I don't know, maybe this is not the right way to think of it, but I don't know that we get a lot of that opportunity in modern culture. I was working with a client this week, and he was talking about how he was in business, like in finance, and his life was very stressful, very hectic. And he recently moved into an environment where they actually encourage activity, a balance of activity and rest. Like he can actually meditate before meetings, and people, they have like better outcomes of their meetings. And I was like, that's such a amazing thing to be a part of. And he described just how beneficial it was for his overall well-being. He said he was the happiest, healthiest he's ever been in his life. And that's just because he gets extra time and space, wake up in the morning, look out, listen to the birds, enjoy a cup of coffee, have gratitude, or warm water, Ayurveda would say, not coffee, never coffee on an empty stomach. But what I'm trying to get at is like, okay, so there are a lot of good things going on. We are very excited. That's a good thing. Continue that empowerment, continue that inspiration, but don't let it take away from the things that do need more tender, loving care, that do need nurture and support, or that keep you present, right? That keep you in the moment, that keep you thankful and grateful for the life that you've been given. And not to be a cheeseball or preachy or whatever, I can tell you a bajillion ways where I could be better in my own daily routine. So, but in this value of, there is something so beautiful when we can add that layer of sacrament to our daily living, right? Where we can just appreciate, have gratitude. And it actually helps when we have to let go, release, move on from painful things, from toxic things, from things that did hurt our body, our mind, our soul. We have to learn how to release those. And when we give ourselves a little extra space to do so, that's when it happens, right? That's when we're able to do it more fluidly, smoothly. It's a natural release. It's a natural progression. We're not as afraid to confront our emotions, whatever that may look like. And then it just like helps enliven this energy that much more, right? I would say like it just sparkles that much more. And that's the beauty of it. Oh, and I love it. We get the sun card. So there's a lot of beauty surrounding you right now. I think there is a lot of opportunity on your doorstep. So if you do have things that you're wanting to actively invest in, it's like a great time to do so. And obviously, I know this is more centered around health and well-being, but this can be anything, right? Like maybe you do want to refine your routine so you can be more proactive around things. You might be taking your time, maybe even like this obviously is the princess and the pea. So maybe being a little bit too hypercritical, over analytical, whatever that may be, because again, there's a lot going for you right now. And I feel like doing small, simple steps to put things into play in your life, whether that's, like I said, a consistent routine or just connecting, cultivating a wider range, wider network of individuals, etc. Um, I think I lost my track. Like it's, yes, think about what you need to do, but I don't think that much thought has to be put into it. And this is kind of showing you in this hermiting, this the Four of Swords is meditation. It's taking time to process through, but it can be a little bit hermity. That's how I'm picking it up for you. That maybe like you can do something, like there are things that you can do. And I think maybe you are. I think you are. But I think you do have a lot on your plate, Eight of Pentacles. So maybe there is a part of you that's really tired. I get that as well. It's when the energy starts to pick up, especially if we have things lingering. And as I'm saying this, I was picking that up as I was doing the energy cleansing. It's like loose ends, strings that need to be tied up that you maybe do or don't have control over, but that also drain a lot of energy. And so when it comes time to invest in self or whatever this is for you, it can be a little bit exhausting. I don't know, like Ayurveda is a huge proponent of meditating twice a day, 20 minutes, morning and night. I think that's pretty achievable. It especially with how it does realign the physiology. It brings in harmony and balance. And I do a lot. I'm an overworker. I like pack my day with too many things, and that can easily get out of balance, or I can easily overdo it, right? So I found for me meditation, it's just like exhaustion, tiredness. I think I've even said it on the channel before, like grumpiness, agitation, whatever. It just completely washes that away. And then I can move on with my bajillion things I have going on, right? And not saying like that's perfect, because I think this is what I'm hearing is like you've spent a lot of time in this meditative state and you can open yourself up a little bit more to what's around you. Yes, work is there. Yes, work has to be done, but maybe you find a way to do both at once, right? Like you go out, go to a coffee shop, whatever, go be with people, do a study group, you know, whatever, like things that just kind of still keep you in this vibe. Um, you know, and it's not things that you have to do all day long. That's the other thing of it. Like it's just basically saying, like, when you have the time, making a little bit more effort, changing up your routine a little bit. You might have even just that value of coming off the winter season, gotten really into a specific style of routine. You've been very used to it, and it's been a little bit difficult changing it up. But Ayurveda does recognize that changing our routine during the seasons is appropriate because we're going to have a certain energy to contribute at certain times. And that's why spring is such a vital energy, because it allows us to start plugging into things that really do end up bringing us success. I love it. I feel like don't get bogged down. I know that's like a little bit of a cliche, but don't get bogged down with all you do have going on. Because if anything, there is a lot going for you. And it feels like some of the places where you're getting your stuck are your own things, right? And this can just be unlearning mental tapes, mental patterns, whatever you say to yourself, you know, I'm whatever. I can say a lot of things, but I don't want to trigger anybody. Just whatever those mental tapes are, right? That you put yourself down when you look in the mirror, or with what you eat, or how you take care of yourself, self-love, self-care routine, or the people that you have around you, or you have people that put you down. You know, there's a lot of different ways that this can manifest. But it's basically like there's aspects of it that have been really limiting or that need a little bit more healing. Again, this mushroom component, like where you do, there's this surface level of things working and feeling really good. And then there's these undertones of like, don't don't forget about this thing, you know, not saying like you have to beholden to something negative, but it's like, don't, in a way of like, don't forget about it because it might creep up again, or that's like how it's essentially presenting itself. And I don't even see like when it pops up, it necessarily being a bad thing, because what I love about mushrooms in this deck is it's highlighting that value of recycling. And um, you know, just I was even thinking about how efficient the body is at its own recycling and reusing, you know, proteins that we need to, you know, birth new healthy cells, etc. There's a lot of things that the body does that help us become efficient, right? Like incredibly efficient. And that's what this is. It's not coming up in terms of shame. I feel like if you are like either in a space where you're stuck in the mental prison, or if you go so much the other way of focusing only on the good things that are going on and like completely forget about this energy, it's going to feel a little bit jostling. But I think at the same time, it's helping you. It's helping you. It's adding fertilizer. It's adding fertilizer to your soil. It's adding to your layer of wisdom. Maybe that's part of where that wisdom is coming into play, of not rushing through things too quickly. Things do have a place. Let me close this out, and then we'll clarify if we need to clarify. Okay. The Two of Cups. Yeah, good things are coming in for you. I just feel like you don't see it at all, or you're not acknowledging the success that you do have. And then you come in with the Five of Swords. You're very self-protective. And actually, I'm laughing about it because the Five of Swords is just like an energy of like, no, you may not enter. But again, like this is not anything new we haven't been seeing. If you do have people or habits, patterns, things that resurface from the past, exactly what I've been saying this whole time with this mushroom energy, you're being very decisive about how you're handling it. You're not even like letting it infiltrate into your energy, into your space. You're actually giving yourself the setting boundaries, essentially setting boundaries. And I want to clarify this Sage card. Okay, the Hermit. I'm gonna sit up, sorry. All right. I was all like down in the chair. Okay. The Hermit, the Queen of Swords, and the Two of Pentacles. I mean, it's like basically saying like maybe you could have already released this energy, or the Queen of Swords, especially in this set, I don't even know if I can show that card, but it's a little brutal. Well, YouTube doesn't care about me yet, so that's a good thing, right? It's a little brutal, right? Like she's very I always describe her as like she's very willing to cut things off, even if it hurts her, even if it's not the thing that she wants to do, but she knows it's best for the whole, then that's what she's going to do. And I feel like there is this level of decisive energy that you've had. Maybe you haven't been able to completely execute this Five of Swords where you no longer, maybe you've let something come in and out of your life, right? That's kind of how the energy feels like it keeps coming back or it keeps popping up. It's a habit, it's a routine you don't like, you're not proud of, whatever it may be, right? It's a person, it can come in all different forms, but essentially like an energy that you are actively trying to release. I think it's the exact reason why you're doing all of this stuff over here, why you are continuing to invest in self, because you know that that is actually going to be the biggest payoff. And maybe you did invest into this thing once upon a time. Maybe you did put a lot of tender loving care. It does take a lot for mushrooms to grow, right? The conditions have to be ideal, is what I'm meaning by that. And you could have put a lot of care into something. There's even this like, not trying to be all morbid, but there is this skull down here, and then these like black butterflies, which often symbolize that shadow self, what is of the past, but things that you are, I think that this is like a completion. Like that's what I'm hearing, especially as I'm seeing this breaking down of problems. I think that you're actually bringing a lot of finality to things with this Five of Swords. Maybe it could have been done sooner, maybe not, who knows? You know what I mean? Like I think that like Ayurveda is all about the golden medium, like the happy medium. And I think that makes a little bit more sense. I think we're always going to have that push and pull energy, especially when we're used to something being there all the time, or whatever that looks like for you, having access to that thing. But what you are doing for yourself is very positive. It's very beneficial, and it is actually paying off. I'm hearing that there are things that you're closing out. There are things that you're wrapping up. There are things that are going to pop up that maybe do kind of disrupt whatever healing, wellness, that you're doing for yourself. But the disruption is a good thing. It's a good thing that's helping you get a little bit stronger, get a little bit better, overcome, use the wisdom. Okay, so let's see what these say. Relationship. I call in the infinite power of love to take over in every way. May it now fully belong to the divine. Let it unfold in a perfect way for each of us. I needn't fear letting go of control. My needs are always abundantly met. We do forget that. It's hard to see when we are in difficult dynamics or when we have just ascribed to different difficult patternings, things that we're not proud of, things that we know we have to get better around, etc. Right? Like we all know what that is, whether we're admitting that to ourselves or not. There's always things we can do to evolve. And cultivating that good relationship with ourselves is essential. But also, like, what I was picking up in the very beginning is this open, effortless energy where, like, you're not so either shut down, even though you're coming in as the Four of Swords. Maybe that's where you're coming from. Maybe you have just kind of been very self-protective or taking more time for yourself, for your energy, etc. And now I think you are opening up to relationships, whether that is with self, whether that's with other individuals, new individuals, knowing that like things are going to unfold as they need to, right? That value of things do play out in the way they need to go. Sometimes we stay too long in things, 100%, but there's always wisdom, there's always lesson, there's always value that comes. Okay. I'm not going to choose this one. No offense. I'll choose a different. Not in a weird way, but. Okay, loneliness. It's just not in alignment with the channel. That's all I want to say. Okay. When you stop fearing your aloneness, you stop settling for less than you deserve. May I embrace and love my solitude. And that's when kindred spirits can finally come. And I feel like that is like what you've been doing. I think that's just confirming exactly what you've been doing as you have been operating in this Four of Swords state. And that's good. That's incredibly powerful. That's needed. It's needed so that we can draw in, like we need to obviously love ourselves first, right? Like we need to invest in ourselves first in order to attract people, situations that can mirror that back to us. Otherwise, we're mirroring the negative, and that is not fun at all. It is not fun. No one likes that. It's not fun for anyone. Okay, health. I love it. Allow me to be tender and accepting of my body, no matter what ailments I may have. May I always know it's doing the best it can. Help me to be a loving ally and friend to this sacred form. And that is so true. We are so hard on our bodies. We're very physically minded. Whatever. Culture has its own stuff that it contributes to that. And bodies change, like things are constantly changing throughout life. And sometimes that can be a little bit hard to acclimate to. I think there's even like a study that shows that the brain prefers comfort, the least amount of efforting. But when we do, we get like a lot of satisfaction from it, ironically or not, right? So I think that like when we do invest in self, it becomes that foundation, that platform, like I was saying. It looks like you're doing it. It looks like actually what you have set for yourself is really strong. It's really powerful. Even if you're not where you're at in your strength, in your health, in your well-being, it's continue to do what you're doing because it's working. It's working and it's actually catering to this health. And sometimes we do just need to love our bodies with where we're at, despite despite the things we think are not good. You know what I mean? Like, it's sad. I wish we could all love ourselves. I think it's like one of the hardest things to do, and also something we spend a lot of life doing. But I think that there's a lot of beauty coming in for you. I feel like you're opening up to something new and very powerful. I feel like you're ready to make this transition. It is this value of hard work paying off. I think you can be a little bit easier on yourself, a little nicer to yourself. Congratulate yourself on the work that you have done, what you have done to date. Make sure that you're not letting that part go unnoticed. And I think the more that we do that for ourselves, be our own encouragement, be our best friend, the easier it is to then go out and be healthy, be well, treat ourselves with love and kindness. So that is what I have for you this morning. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I always love to hear, or just say, hey, share, and a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Just know that I'm sending love to your heart, to your health, to your well-being. I know it's challenging in a very unhealthy world, but I think that when we honor ourselves with those practices, whatever resonates for you, whatever brings you that joy, that happiness, that peace, that balance, that's a beautiful life lived, and that is my heart for you to whatever capacity it may be. I'm all about peace, love, healing, just actually enjoying this life that we're given. It doesn't have to be so sad. All right. Thank you for your time, energy. Always. I super appreciate you sending love and blessings your way. Have a happy, happy weekend. I will be live tomorrow evening, as a heads up for a weekly